Have you ever read a book that just completely flips your understanding of money on its head? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is the book that really made millions of people stop and rethink everything they thought they knew about how money works.
Okay, so the whole story is built around this fascinating contrast between the author's two dads. You've got his real dad, Poor Dad, who was a super smart PhD-level academic working for the government, but he was always worried about bills. And then you have Rich Dad, his best friend's father, who didn't even finish middle school, but went on to build an empire and become a millionaire. I mean, how does that even happen?
So what was the real difference here? It wasn't about their IQ or their salary. Nope, it all came down to something much more fundamental: their mindset. The financial lessons they learned and lived by put them on two completely different roads in life.
Poor Dad, he followed the script that most of us are taught. Go to a good school, get a safe and secure job, maybe get a promotion. His whole relationship with money was based on caution, maybe even a little bit of fear. For him, money was something you just earn and spend. You don't really get to control it.
But Rich Dad, whoa, he saw it completely differently. He flipped that old saying right on its head. He believed that financial struggle, the constant worrying, was the real problem. His whole philosophy was about changing the game. Don't just work hard for your money, learn how money works so you can make it work for you. And that is a powerful, powerful shift.
Okay, so that's the big idea, right? Make money work for you. But how? How do you actually pull that off? Well, it all boils down to the single most important lesson in this entire book. This is the secret sauce that changes everything.
But first, we've got to talk about the trap, the one that, let's be honest, most people are stuck in. It's what Kiyosaki calls the rat race. You know the feeling, right? You get up, you go to work to earn a paycheck just to pay your bills, which means you have to get up and go to work again. It's a loop.
And this lays it out perfectly. You work for money. Then, poof, a huge chunk disappears for taxes and living expenses. And here's the kicker. With what's left, we buy things we think are assets. A nicer car, a bigger house, but these things just create more bills, which means, yep, you need to earn more money. And just like that, you're stuck on the hamster wheel. So how do you break out? It all starts with Rich Dad's incredibly simple but life-changing definitions. First up, an asset. Forget all the complicated financial jargon. An asset is simply something that puts money in your pocket. That's it. Think a rental property bringing in checks every month, or stocks that pay you dividends, money flowing to you.
And a liability? Well, it's the exact opposite. It's anything that takes money out of your pocket. That car payment, the mortgage on your primary home, that credit card balance, they are constantly pulling money away from you month after month.
And this chart shows the whole game. Look at the left. The poor and middle class get their paycheck and they immediately spend it on liabilities. The cash just flows out. Now look at the right. The rich use their income to buy assets, things that make them money. Those assets then create more income, which they use to buy, you guessed it, more assets. It's a cycle of wealth creation.
Once you get this simple concept of cash flow, you suddenly realize, wow, the wealthy aren't just playing the game better, they're playing a completely different game with a whole different set of rules.
And this right here is the heart of it. It's a total shift in focus. You stop trading your hours for dollars and start building or buying systems, assets, that generate income for you 24/7. The goal? To get to a point where the income from your assets is greater than your expenses. That is financial freedom. So what's one of their biggest tools? The corporation. Now don't let that word scare you. Think about it this way. As an employee, you earn money, the government taxes it immediately, and you live off what's left over. But with a corporation, the business earns money, pays for all its legitimate expenses, and then it pays taxes on what's left over. It's a massive legal advantage, but you have to have the financial literacy to use it.
But here's the thing. Knowing about assets and corporations isn't enough, not even close. Because what really holds most people back isn't a lack of information, it's fear. The fear of losing money, the fear of trying something new, the fear of failing.
So how do we get past that fear? How do we go from just knowing this stuff to actually doing something with it? In this final section, let's talk about turning all this knowledge into real-world action.
According to the book, these are the 5 big dream killers. You've got fear, which paralyzes you. Cynicism, that little voice that says, oh, that'll never work. Laziness, which often masks itself as being too busy. Bad spending habits, which destroy your financial foundation. And arrogance, thinking you already know it all and don't need to learn anything new.
So what can you do, starting today?
It doesn't have to be some giant leap. First, educate yourself. Make your financial intelligence a priority. Second, and this is a big one, pay yourself first. Before you pay a single bill, set aside a portion of your income to invest in an asset. And finally, start small. You don't need a fortune. Buy a single share of a dividend stock. Research one small deal. The most important thing is just to get in the game.
And that really brings us to the core message here. This book isn't about getting rich quick. It's about a lifelong commitment to learning and taking action. It shows you that there are really two financial games being played in the world. There's a game where you work for money, and there's a game where money works for you. So after all of this, the only question left is, which game are you going to play?